You're listening to Tea and Crumpets, a show where everyday people sit on my couch and talk about everyday things.
So, what sort of advice would you give the 19, 20, 23-year-old who's sitting at home, they want to go on the trip, maybe their friends aren't into it, so
My
they're
brother?
waiting.
Are you describing my brother?
No, but
Okay.
I'm not. Or maybe they're introverted and they're not sure or whatever. I mean, what I would say to them is just do it.
I'd say more specifically, pick a place
Yes.
that speaks English that is still like
Speaks your native tongue.
speaks your native tongue. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be like the first language, like in Germany, the first language is German, but everyone speaks English. Just do your research. Make sure that most people speak English. Make sure it's not like too much of a culture shock from your own country if you are afraid, and then like you'll get used to it. Like England was the best first country I could have gone. It wasn't my first country, but like it was my first solo country, and yeah, it was very different from Canada, but everyone spoke English, and like
don't get lost in the idea that you need to go somewhere completely foreign to get a sense of adventure.
Yeah, like it still was a culture shock. Like going to the grocery store, I'm like, oh, I'm not used to any of these foods. Like everything was different, and
even going to at least in Canada, like going to the West Coast is substantially different.
Yeah, it's still everywhere is different.
Central fucking Ontario.
So I would say to people traveling and it's their first time, like Europe is a good bet. Like Western Europe.
Yeah, pretty solid.
And you're gonna find a lot of people that, like, if you're from Canada, you're gonna find a lot of Canadians. If you're from Australia, a lot of Australians. Like,
come to Canada.
No, don't do that. If you want to waste all your money. No, I'd say Europe is a good bet. Maybe don't book like a month trip, but like it depends on the person you are. I'm talking to the person who is a little nervous and hasn't ever like been anywhere. Book like a 2-3 week trip and have some things planned out, like have an itinerary. If you're going by yourself, like don't be too worried. Like you're still able to talk to people. If you're getting homesick,
and you're nervous, just do a 1 week trip.
Just do one, or like have the option if you want to extend it, and like don't be afraid of putting yourself out there. Like if you want to meet people, like just don't be afraid. What's the worst thing that's gonna happen, right? Like you're only gonna get a good story out of it. So I would just say, like, yeah, don't be afraid to put yourself out there, and don't be too attached to your phone. Like I have 100%. Traveled with a couple people that are like,
that's annoying, just not even traveling.
Just to get like have to go on Instagram or have to do this, have to do that. It's like, no, the whole point of traveling, for me anyways, is to bring myself out of my normal life. And I want a new experience. I don't need to be on Instagram all the time. I like checking it at the end of the day, but I don't need to like go to a restaurant and be like, what's your Wi-Fi
password?
If
you're going like, just for the validation of your social media page.
If you're going for that, like, good for, if you are willing to admit that, like, good for you. Everyone wants different shit in life, but like if you're by yourself, like, but if you're with friends and that's not what they want, you guys got to be on the same page.
Yeah.